Good morning, students. So in this class, we are discussing about the different types of the systems we are using in the control systems, and what is transfer function, and how to determine the transfer function by using the Laplace transforms and etc. First, we are see that what is continuous system, the different types of systems, that is continuous system and discontinuous system. So continuous system, what is the meaning of the continuous system? Continuous systems are those types of systems in which input and output signals are the same at both ends. In this type of the system, variable used in the system changes with respect to time, and any type of variation is not found in the input and output signal. In the response, what is the response means? The output. In the response to their input signal, a continuous system generates an output signal. What is the meaning of these concepts? So if the input is given to the system in a continuous in nature, then thus the systems are called continuous systems. All physical systems are continuous systems. Suppose we have two variables x and y, and both vary with respect to time. It is a time variant systems. Continuous signals are represented with respect to this diagram. You see, x of t is given like this, and this is a continuous system. Y of t is given like this. It may be vary with respect to time, but we are giving continuously with respect to time. Second one is discrete system. So in a discrete systems, both input and output signals are discrete signals. The variables in the discrete systems are varies with respect to time. In these type of systems, the changes are predominantly discontinuous. The state of variables in discrete system changes only at a discrete set of points in time. So the meaning of this is, if the system, for example, is simply in different way, the input is given to the system in discontinuous manner or discrete manner. Then that type of systems, that type of systems are called discrete or digital control systems. Even first one, the continuous systems are also called analog systems. This one is also called digital systems, digital control systems. For example, here also the two variables in the discrete systems are x and y, and they are always presented in square brackets. So you clearly see that. So it is presented in square bracket, x of t, square bracket. So this is mentioned in dotted line. So that's why it is a discrete in nature, not in continuous in nature. Next one is linear and non-linear systems. When we said to be the system is linear, a system is said to be linear if it obeys the superposition principle, or otherwise it's said to be the non-linear. Simple concept is, if it obeys the system, superposition principle, then it is a linear system. If it is or otherwise it is a non-linear system. The next one is time variant and time invariant systems. In a system, if the system component values vary with respect to time, so the component values, what components we are using in a system, that values are changes with respect to time, then it is said to be the time variant systems, or otherwise it is not changed, then that systems are called time invariant systems. Right, here we are using SISO and MIMO continuous the terminology. SISO represents single input, single output systems. MIMO represents multiple input and multiple output systems. Here we determine to determine whether the given system is a time variant or time invariant, we have to follow the different steps. So really we don't know whether the mathematical expression, we don't know whether it's a time variant system or time invariant systems. That means the variables of the system vary with respect to time or not, we don't know. If you want to determine that, there is a procedure. So the first step for whether it's we are determining whether the system is time variant or time invariant, delay the input x of n by k samples, that is x of n minus k. So we'll take k, we are assuming that the k is some 2 or 3, and x of n minus k. So let us assume in n is 10 minus 2, that is x n minus k, will denote that corresponding output by y of n comma k, that is 10 comma 2. That means x of n minus k and y of n of k, the representation is like this. Step 2, In this given equation of the system, y of n, replace n by n minus k. Now, throughout the operation, we are replacing that the number of variables n by n minus k. Thus, the output is y of n minus k. Step 3. Actual output is only y of n only, but we are replacing that n by n minus k. So step 3 is if y of n comma k is equal to y of n minus k, then the system is. So n comma k we are earlier representation. Now it is representation by y of n minus k. If both are same, then that system is a time invariant system. And if y of n of k then is not equal to y of n minus k, then system is time variant system. Same steps are applicable for the continuous systems also. Determine whether the following system is time variant or not. So whether it's a time variant or not also we have to find out. Y of n is equal to x of n, but earlier it is n minus k, n minus 2. We directly take the 2 less than the 2, that is x of n minus x of n minus 2. Step 1. Delay the input by k samples and denote the output by n of k. Therefore, y of n of k is equal to x of n minus k minus x minus n minus 2 minus k. Replace that n. Simple. We are thinking that here replacing the n by n minus k throughout the operation. Then y of n minus k is equal to x of n minus k minus x of n minus k minus 2. Step 3. Compare the above two equations. Here y of n comma k is equal to y of n minus k. Then that system is time invariant, or otherwise it is a time invariant. Anyway, we'll see these concepts, these procedures in the mathematical equations in the modeling. Then you are understanding very easily. Yeah. Laplace transform. Here the Laplace transform plays an important role in control theory. It appears the description of time invariant systems, whether it changes the operators in the multiplication operators and allowed to determine the transfer function of the system. So if you want to find the transfer function, so anyway, we'll discuss what is the transfer function and how to determine it. So it plays an important role to determine the transfer function of the control system. So these are the different with respect to the time and with respect to the time analysis and the frequency analysis, the equivalent values. For example, with respect to the time analysis, the signal is delta of t, then the frequency response, that is the transfer function of delta of t is equal to 1. So anyway, these concepts are seen in your mathematics subject also. So how to determine the Laplace transforms. So that is a time response analysis, time response signals to frequency response signals. So the Laplace transform of delta of t is equal to 1, and the Laplace transform of u of t is equal to 1 by s. Laplace transform of t is equal to 1 by s square. Laplace transform of t to the power of k is k factorial by s to the power of k plus 1. Laplace transform of e power minus at is equal to 1 by s plus a. Laplace transform of t of k, t to the power of k into e power minus at is equal to k to the k factorial by s plus a to the power of k plus 1. Laplace transform of 1 minus e power at. Number of times it will come this type of transfer functions. So to transform, transform these signals. It's very important. 1 minus of e power minus at is a by s into s plus a. For example, here if it is e power at is there, this is s minus a will come, right? Similarly, the different type of signals here also, 1 plus b by a minus b into e power minus at minus a by a minus b into e power minus bt. So that is ab by a into s plus a into s plus b. Next, so cos omega t, Laplace transform of cos omega t is equal to s by s square plus omega square. Laplace transform of sin omega t is equal to omega by s square plus omega square. Laplace transform of e power minus at into omega cos omega t minus a into sin omega t is equal to omega s by s plus a whole square plus omega square, like that. So different terminology whenever it required. So Laplace transform of r, that is a response signal. The Laplace transform of r is equal to 1 by that is 1 by s, like that. Transfer function. Yeah. Transfer function of a control system is defined as the ratio of the Laplace transform of output variable to the Laplace transform of the input variable, and assuming all the initial conditions are 0. Laplace transform of output simply. So Laplace transform of output by Laplace transform of input is called the transfer function. So in a Laplace transform, the input is represented by R of S. Why the input is represented by R of S? So we are taking the input as a reference. So that's why reference signal. So it's a Laplace transform of R of t. That is the time response signal. That's why we are representing here R of S. And output is represented by C of S. This is output. Then the transfer function will be output by input. That is C of S by R of S. So methods of obtaining a transfer function. Anyway, before to discuss about the methods of obtaining the transfer function. So what are the advantages? Why we are determining the transfer function and everything. So transfer function, what are the advantages of the transfer function is, transfer function is a conventional method of modeling physical systems, and the gain of the system can be easily obtained. So the transfer function uses the Laplace transform, hence the solutions can be obtained very easily. Transfer function gives the information of poles and zeros. So anyway, in the next topic we'll discuss what are the poles and what are the zeros. And so it is given the information of the poles and zeros, so we can find the transfer and stability state responses of the system. Stability of the system can be determined with available techniques used in transfer function. So using transfer function, we can obtain the responses of the system for the both input and the type input also, different types of inputs also. But what are the main drawbacks? These are all of the advantages of the Laplace transform, the transfer function of the system. So what are the main drawback of the transfer function of the system is, here we are assuming the only 0 initial conditions. So it assumes the 0 initial conditions. That is a very main drawback. Second one is the transfer function model cannot be applicable for the non-linear and time varying system. It can be applicable only for linear time invariant systems only. So yesterday in the previous we have discussed what is a linear system and what is a non-linear system. So that's why it is applicable only for linear systems. So we cannot find the transfer function for the non-linear systems. And similarly, we cannot find the transfer function for the time varying systems. We can find the time invariant systems only. So that is also the main drawback. Then how to determine the methods of obtaining the transfer function? There are two major ways for obtaining the transfer function for the control system. They are black diagram method. Second one is signal flow graph. Black diagram, it is a convenient to derive a complete transfer function for a complex control system. Therefore, the transfer function of each element of a control system is represented by a black diagram. Black diagram reduction techniques are applied to obtain the described transfer function. Anyway, in the next class, we'll discuss what is a black diagram and how to different techniques used to black diagram for the reduction techniques and everything. Second one is the signal flow graph. So signal flow graph, SFG. So signal flow graph, the modified form of the black diagram is called the signal flow graph. Black diagram gives a pictorial representation of the control systems, but whereas signal flow graph further shorten the representation of the control systems. You see, the function can be represented like this, the polynomial form. So f of is equal to f naught into h to the power of n plus fn into h to the power of n minus 1 and so on. And similarly, the transfer function of the control system can also be represented as like this. G of s, this is the gain value. So there is a transfer function. So total gain. What is the meaning of transfer function? What is the total gain of the system? So total gain is represented by G. It's a Laplace transform. So it's a Laplace transform of total gain. So that's why G of s is equal to C of s by R of s. That is equal to C naught into h to the power of n plus C1 into h to the power of n minus 1 and so on by R of s. That is R naught into h to the power of m plus R1 into h to the power of m minus 1 and so on. So this simply we represented this equation like this. Some constant k into s minus z1 into s minus z2 up to s minus so on, s minus zn. By in the denominator it is mentioned as s minus p1 S minus P2, S minus P3, and S up to S minus Pm. We clearly see that in the numerator, the equation can be written as S minus Z1, Z2, Z3 like that. So these Z1, Z2, Z3 are the zeros of the system. In the denominator, we represented in P1, P2, P3 form up to Pm. These are the poles of the system, where K is known as the gain factor of the transfer function. So here, what is zero and what is pole? Right. So zeros and poles. So now the above equation, in the earlier equation, we represented as Z1, Z2, Z3, and so on. These are the roots of the numerator. So roots of the numerator of the equation, polynomial. So, and these roots are called the zeros of the transfer function. Similarly, in the denominator, S is equal to P1, P2, P3 up to Pm, we are represented, that values of the transfer function becomes infinite. These roots are of the denominator are called poles of the system. Generally, the representation of this one represented by the zeros are represented by zeros only, some zero signal, and these poles are represented by some X signals, X symbol. You see here in this equation, the transfer function is generally expressed in Laplace transform, and it is nothing but a relation between the input and output of the system. Let us consider a system consisting of a series combination of RLC, that is a resistance, inductance, and a capacitance. I'm sorry, RL and a voltage source, RL and C. In this circuit, the current, so because of the voltage, the current is passing in the system is I. The response due to this current is a response, that is a because of the voltage only this current comes. So this is that why in the current control system terminology we can represent it as small I is a response due to the voltage. So that's why the voltage is the input, I is the output, the response. Hence the voltage and current of the circuit can be considered as the input and output of the system. Here the voltage is considered as input and current is considered as output. So from we applying the KVL of this circuit, then we get total voltage V is equal to R into the current flowing through the resistance I, R into I plus L into di by dt. So now applying the Laplace transform, we get what is V of S, Laplace transform of V of t is V of S, that is equal to R into I of S plus L into di by dt. How can we represent this one? S into I of S minus I of 0 plus, because it's the initial inductor behaves as a open. That's why, so initially inductor behaves as an open circuit. That's why I of 0 plus is 0. So this term represented as 0. Therefore, this above equation can be written as V of S is equal to I of S is taken as common. So I of S into R plus LS. So as we said, what is transfer function? Output by inputs. So here the current is output, voltage is input. So I of S by V of S is equal to 1 by I of S will come in this way. Then the value is 1 by R plus LS. That is I of S by V of S is equal to 1 by R plus LS. This term can be written as 1 by L plus S plus R by L. Let us an example explain the concept of poles and zeros of the transfer function through this an example. So here the total gain transfer function of the system is S plus 1 into S plus 2 by S plus 3 into S plus 4 into S plus 5, and like this. The zeros of the functions are, as we said, the roots of the numerator polynomial. So it is the zeros is S plus 1, that is S is equal to minus 1. So minus 1, minus 2 are the zeros here, and the poles are S plus 3, that is S is equal to minus 3. So minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, this is minus 2 plus 4j, this is minus 2 minus 4j are the poles of the polynomial. Hence n is equal to, that is here we mention as n is the number of zeros. How many zeros are there? -1 and -2. That is 2 only. So n is equal to 2. M represents number of poles. How many poles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So m is equal to 5. As if n is less than m, that is zeros are less than the poles, and m minus n is equal to 3. Right? The function will have the 3 zeros at s tends to infinity. The poles and zeros are plotted in the figure. So then it can be plotted like this. What are the number of zeros? -1 and -2. So here you represented -1 and -2. So these zeros are represented with a small circles, -1 and -2. And the roots, how many poles are there? 5 poles. One is -3, like this, -4, -5, -2 plus 4j. It's a complex conjugate. That's why here represented like this. It's a positive way. So that's why it come in the first quadrant. And this is in the in the second quadrant, and this is in the third quadrant. That is -2 -4j. So this is -2 plus 4j is pole, and this is -2 -4j is another pole. So these poles are represented with a small cross, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Thank you. So in the next class, we'll discuss about the block diagram representation, how to reduce the transfer function, how to determine the transfer function, and the block diagram reduction techniques to determine the transfer function of the system. Thank you.